Doug Crawford. I'm president of besttradeschools.net, and
Okay.
I have Jake here today,
All right.
and we're talking about um, what your experience has been since being in high school and what
Mhm.
led you into a trade.
Yeah. So, since high school, I graduated class of 2022. I graduated and I did a construction trades career tech at my high school. For some people who might not have a career tech is something that you might take in high school that will advance you into a field of study or a field of like a career of some sort. Usually, we had some for nursing, we had some for construction trades, engineering, among other things. So, I had taken engineering in high school, realized it wasn't my kind of thing. I probably wouldn't enjoy it going into college. I wanted to get involved in like building things and using my using designing amongst other things. And I realized that I liked working with my hands a lot more. It was better for me to do that than stand behind a desk and design. So I had transferred to my construction trades career tech instead. And then through that career tech, I had met a carpenter who is a carpenter of a union for many years. His name was Mr. Bricker, funny enough, and he had introduced me to the electrical trades. He had told me I had some family members who had been involved in electrical trades a little bit and just like knew some people, but he showed me how to get involved with the union that was around my area. Local 540 is where I work right now, and how to apply for the apprenticeship. He helped advance me into that. And I think it's a great thing to get involved in that kind of stuff because when I thought about going to college, I thought about a lot of student debt. I didn't really have like enough enough money to like saved up among years. Our family didn't have enough money just to pay for a couple of semesters of tuition, and I knew I would either have to apply for a loan or get a couple of like money grants of some sort to help with my tuition there. And I knew that if I did that, I didn't really want to be in debt. I didn't want to be in debt for a long time. I wanted to be able to kind of work my life around the fact that I wouldn't have any extra money holding me down in the future. And he had told me that getting into the trades would help me with that because of the fact that they have a way that's called like work to learn kind of a situation where you will go to school and you will also work at the same time. So
This
throughout
school
my
cost
week,
a lot of money.
it doesn't cost a lot of money. I think a year for a year's worth of tuition, I paid $600. I paid $600 and I paid my union fees on that. And but along with that, being a part of the union, which we do our trades like schooling through, they pay for they help us we get a healthcare package, retirement fund. We get a couple of different programs to help with that. We get like prescription programs. We get a lot of like extra benefits that come with that, usually in the form of like, let's see, we get a credit union, we get a couple of different kinds of retirement funds that we can invest into on top of our pension that we get already. Um, Different locals do different things. Some have like a vacation fund set up. Some do a little bit different things kind of around that area, I guess you could say, when it comes to like you could save a couple of things and they'll give you like a bit of benefits through working through different companies with our local. But for the most part, it's very, very nice to be able to, because I'm out of high school right now. I'm 19 years old. I am in my apprenticeship program. I'm a first year inside electrician as apprentice. Um, I have, I think, roughly 3,200 hours in the trade so far of work that I've done so far. And I think right now, probably about 200 hours of overtime I've worked recently. And through that, that all of the hours that you work towards your package that you get with the union and also works towards your schooling. I think I work 5 days a week generally, unless I do a bit of overtime, in which we can also work weekends if we want, and we get an increase in pay at that time on top of our wage already.
Right.
So we get time and a half if we work most days, and then holidays and special occasions like Christmas, Thanksgiving. If you ever work those days, if you choose to work those days, Generally, most people won't make you work those days unless you agree to it for the most part. There's a couple of different instances where you might have to, but generally, that's where it will go. And when you have to do stuff like that, they will pay you double your hourly rate. Whenever you top out at the end of schooling, you will become what is known as a journeyman. And journeyman electricians, specifically for where I am, make with our package, on top of our package, we make roughly 37 something dollars an hour, roughly. And then you also get all of your benefits on top of that. After 5 years of schooling at $600 a year, roughly, I think it might go up on your last year a little bit. But besides that, it's a great package that you get for a couple of years of working, and they work around your schedule for the schooling. I go to school 2 days a week. I actually just took my final for one of my classes today,
Nice, congrats.
and they work with you because of your job. They know that above all else, working and providing is one of your main things. So they help work the schooling schedule around that a little bit. So we do a little bit of homework. We do a little bit of like lab where they practice and teach you practical skills for the work field that you do, along with teaching you in the field as well,
And
which
where
is
is your
very.
school? Is it at a local college, or is it through
So it is. It has its own building, separate. It's called the JATC, Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. The one I am at is in like the Jackson Township area of Ohio, and it's in that kind of area. The way that they do credits, they also work through a community college. They have a partnership with one. So on top of me already going to school, I do get college credits on top of it. So all the classes that they teach are college classes. So if
so
I ever wanted to in the future, if it, I could go to college if I wanted to. But with what I already get, it's already great to just work with the like career that they give me at the end of it.
and so are there students that are entering the program from the community college as well? If they didn't have, say, a contact, like you were fortunate to know someone that led you
Mhm.
there, do you know other coworkers that are coming through a different path, I guess, than you?
Oh yeah, yeah. We have there's a guy that sits next to me in class right now. His name is Brock, and Brock went to college. He got out of college. He got out of high school at 18. Went to college for a couple of years. I think he went for like 3 years. Decided it wasn't his thing. Knew that he probably wouldn't like the career path he was on, and that just the debt would be a little too much for him right at the moment. He had already had a little too much that he would be able to work with what he was getting with his job he already had, and the fact that he was trying to start a family a little bit. And he decided, you know what, I like. He had a little bit of experience working in construction in general. And if you ever want to ask about that kind of stuff, we have a lot of union representatives who do come to schools. They come to high schools. They come to colleges once in a while, I believe,
Mhm.
mostly high schools a lot of the time. And they will speak with you and talk to you about that. And they do some open events from time to time, from what I know of. I know that our local will talk with some high school students a little bit or some career centers. And they will kind of get involved and try and see if you would like to enjoy that stuff and see if it would be something that you'd be wanting to do. Because it's not for everybody. It's understandable. It's not for
Of
everybody.
course.
If you decide that you want to get into that kind of field, it is incredibly rewarding. And but above all else, it makes you feel like you've done a lot. It's amazing to do a job where you were working on a school for a couple of months, where you were building like a couple of different buildings. Like I've worked commercial jobs. I've built elementary schools since I've started. I've built businesses for people. I've worked on industrial sites where people make do like nitrogen production among other things, and it's very rewarding to be able to do that kind of work and see that you like impacted people's lives afterwards a lot of the time.
Nice.
Right now we're working at an elementary school in Perry Township, and right now it's really cool. It's nice to see the fact that like whenever you drive past that school in the future when you're older, it's nice to know that I had a very big hand in making pretty much a lot of how that school runs right there. It's just very rewarding. It's a very nice feeling to have after doing such a good job, to feel like you made an impact, made more of an impact that you can see and visualize, and like you can go into that school and see everything working and see people enjoying it, kind of thing. It's very ethereal, I guess is the way to
Oh,
put it.
well,
It's very
yeah.
It's very
So,
nice. It's very nice to see it.
so if you're talking to a 16-year-old, or maybe you go back to your high school and you're talking to kids, because it's the day you can go back and say, what would you say for someone that didn't know or was thinking about it, but there's a lot of pressure today to go to college.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, oh, if you don't go to college, maybe you're not going to see your true potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the message that you would give to students from your school if you went back in there today?
A lot of the time people will tell you the kind of stuff that you said, where a lot of what your future ability is based on what you can learn from different places and continuing to have that mindset of studying in class. I like to think that studying in the field and being able to know that you can learn practical skills immediately and know that you will be able to possibly, even if you're in a situation where you're in a classroom and you know that studying isn't a thing that isn't like super interesting to you, studying a field constantly, not being able to go out in the field and work, not being able to like be, I guess, in the situation almost and see how it happens, is very understandable to have that feeling. It's a very understandable thing, especially worrying about how it's going to be in the future for you. Knowing that like you might be doing a job that, especially my biggest fear was the fact that I would be afraid that I would start a career that I would put years into and money and time and realize that I just didn't like it. That was the one biggest fear I had. And knowing that you can get into the trades like that, you are able to do so many different things already after finishing it. It's not like you just get your license and you can only do that. You can expand your portfolio by a lot and for a lot less of the price than a tuition of a college, frankly. Colleges have their place and they're amazing for the careers that they provide. But when it comes to needing people to build a house for you, work on something, being able to serve your community in a way, especially if you just want to, if you want to work for a company and you want to just work on commercial buildings, or if you want to invest your time into your community and you want to help with projects around your town, among other things, or help friends and family members with the work that you can provide, it's a very rewarding feeling. And frankly, it pays well.
Okay,
So
very good. Well, Jake, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I'm going to go ahead and end this interview.